Coming up on this episode of The Power of Real Estate.
And I know we've all seen these memes on Facebook here lately with the screaming lady and the cat. And the funniest one I've seen, you've probably seen it, but you're going to laugh again when I tell you. It's the screaming lady, and she's got a black eye, and she's like, I got a chicken sandwich from Popeyes. It only took 2 hours. And the cat's sitting over there saying, he's got a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and he says, 90 seconds and I have a blessed day.
She spent over 20 years as a successful realtor and realtor coach, recipient of over 40 sales, leadership, and literary awards from the legendary Music Row in Nashville. This is The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, we're here in the studio with producer Jimmy Yo.
Are you playing drums on this song?
You know it, baby. Oh, my goodness. I'm excited about today's show. We got some great shows coming up, by the way, but today's show, we're going to talk about how you can make more money by holding open houses. We're going to get real with it. You know how you can get jiggy with it? Well, this is going to be getting real with it.
Okay. As long as you got chocolate chip cookies at the open house, I'm there.
It just takes so little to make you happy. I love it.
But when you walk into a house and you smell cookies or apple pie, come on, that's got to get people's attention. Like, I love this house. Why?
Yeah.
It smells like apple pie and cinnamon.
Makes me think of Grandma.
That's right.
And love, because Grandma loves you. All right, so we're going to talk about how you can make more money by holding open houses. A lot of people don't like to do open houses, but the bottom line is they work. If you think about it, new home construction, these big production builders, if you think about it, really, what are they doing? I spent 10 years selling. My first 10 years, years 2 through 11 were spent selling with big production builders. And so my 10-year span of that part of my career was really one big fat open house. And I can tell you, they work. And so we're going to talk about how to do it, some creative ways to make sure they're successful. So the first one, when we're talking about making more money by holding open houses, is this is kind of a cool thing. Have you heard of Facebook stories and Instagram stories? Well, the way they work is it gets kind of extra attention, and it shows up in people's feeds and or notifications and all that about you adding to your story. And it gets attention for like 24 hours. And so something that you want to hold or get more attention for the next 24 hours. So if you're holding an open house, let's say on Sunday from 2 to 4, this Sunday. Mm-hmm. So Saturday at about 1:30, 2 o'clock at the latest, I would say even at noon, kind of 2 hours before, so 26 hours out, I would do a video, do a little quick Facebook video, story, do something creative, get people's attention about the open house and let them know open house tomorrow from 2 to 4, Sunday, tomorrow, whatever. Cookies will be there, whatever you want to say, and goodies and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're promoting it. Set yourself up for success.
Okay, quick question.
Yes.
You're calling this a Facebook story. Now, is this kind of like an ad?
No. So do you ever see that on Facebook where it says, such and so has added a story?
I don't think I've noticed that.
Yeah. So it's a big thing right now. And then, of course, Instagram has it as well because, Instagram is owned by Facebook. It's really something. The reason why you use a story is something that you really want to bring attention to that's for the next 24 hours. It's kind of got a deadline to it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and so it just gives it a little bit extra push. So sometimes I'll get another 150 people, 250 people that will find out about it, that watches that story. Just heads up, but it's in something that's kind of in the near future, but not like right now. It's not, people do it that way, but I'm saying for an open house, this is an awesome way. It's an out-of-the-box kind of thinking, I think, because, you don't see a lot of people using it that way, but it's a fantastic way to promote your open houses. Yeah. That's number one. So when we're talking about making more money by holding open houses, some tips to make sure that they're successful. Because holding an open house and having a successful open house with traffic that came through, which makes it successful, I think, because whether it's sold or not, it's still successful if you had traffic because you've gotten to meet people face to face. You might get them signed up, which is the second thing we're going to talk about, which is make more money by holding open houses. Number 2 is going to be give value to get people to sign up. If you don't have a great sign-in sheet, you can go to breakthroughbroker.com and they have some, and so it's my understanding they have some for free. So you can use breakthroughbroker.com, maybe look at, some different templates, maybe just print something off. I always say, look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so if you can get a nice little professionally designed sign-in sheet, and then have a reason why people might want to sign in. Maybe a list of 7 common mistakes, costly mistakes, whatever you want to say, costly mistakes that sellers make when they sell their home, or 7 costly mistakes you don't want to make when you sell your home, something like that. And so say, hey, look, if you sign in, I can text that to you. Or when you're talking with people and they ask questions, you might say, hey, well, I don't know the answer to this. They may be asking something about the property and say, but I can get your number, or if you'll sign in, I will call you back later today and after I find out and touch base back, or I can text you or whatever you'd like. But have a reason. In Selling Simplified, my book, I talk about, a conversation with somebody, who's holding the ball at the end of the conversation. So you want to be holding the ball. And what that means is when the conversation ends and there's going to be a reason to follow up or touch base with somebody back, who's holding the ball? Who is the one? And you want to be the one that's like, okay, I'll find that out and I'll let you know. And then when you say you're going to do that, you've got to do that. Mm-hmm. People are fine that you don't know all the answers, but they do expect that when you say, but I'll find out, let me check and I'll get back with you. You better check and you better get back with them. Yeah. We're talking about making more money with open houses. So the first one was, promote your open houses on Facebook and Instagram. The second one was give value to sign in. And so get them to sign in, and you've got it, but think about why would they sign in? Give them a reason, okay? This is a big deal. The next one is when they get there, make sure that you have a pretty spread. I'm going to call it a pretty spread. All right, now here's the deal. So I just recently had an $800,000 home that I had listed, and I did an open house a couple of weekends in a row. I had the little, I went to Party City because it's $800,000. So, it's a little bit higher end home. And so I went to Party City and I got those little plastic champagne glasses on the little, that have the little stem to them. Mm-hmm. And so you put, they come in a bag and you put them together. And I don't drink wine. I don't drink any alcohol. I haven't for years. And I certainly wouldn't serve alcohol at an open house.
Yeah.
Then you really that's maybe the wrong prospects. But now your neighbors start showing up. So what I do is I put the Welch's sparkling grape juice out. Mm-hmm. And so I had 3 different flavors out on the counter. They were all chilled, cold. And I had all these, pretty clear little champagne-looking plastic little cups. They were very cute on the little stems and everything. And I had this platter with these beautiful cookies, so chocolate-dipped pretzels. I had water bottles with my labels on them, the river water, and that producer Jimmy likes to talk about. And so, and little white napkins. And then I had originals, full color of the MLS sheets printed, or if you do a flyer, you could do that. But people tend to want to see more details, I find, and I don't want to do a flyer that talks about the square footage of every room and this and that and all the stats. And so I've gotten to where...
That's the boring details.
Yeah, but people want to know them. And so what I did was I printed a bunch of copies, full color, had that too. So it was beautiful. When you walked in, you had all this stuff that was set up very kind of compactly, but the presentation was very pretty. Mm-hmm. And white platters with all the cookies and stuff, and the pretzels, and people were taking everything because it was. And then when people would leave, in between people or whatever, or if I had a chance, I would replenish everything. But I am telling you, it was a fantastic spread, because here's the thing, okay? When you're like, well, Michelle, why would I do that? Why would I go through all that trouble? Here's why you want to go through all that trouble, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's all these little details, and what people are thinking, okay, no matter what, is wow. So when you do something, what I say to people is, look, I may not be the best at something, but whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm going to give you my best, okay? I may not be the best writer. I may not be the best, realtor ever. I mean, I've got my fair share of success, but I'm not going to, be the best out of 101.5 million, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be the best at something, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I promise you're going to get my best. And if everybody just subscribed to that, boy, would we all be so much more successful. But here's the thing. So I try to apply that in everything I do. Here's what people think. I promise you, whether they realize it or not, this is what they're thinking. They're going to be impressed because people are like, wow, this is gorgeous. I mean, odds are they've been to other open houses. Whose has looked like this? Okay. Mm-hmm. Their kids are drinking out of little champagne glasses, little plastic ones, but boy, they look good and they look like the real deal. But, and they're drinking this sparkling grape juice that their parents might only get them on New Year's Eve. I mean, it's cold. It's been chilled. You got pretty cookies, pretty pretzels. I'm like, well, if Mama says that you can have some, you can have whatever you want. Whatever Mama said. I don't care if they take 20 cookies. I could care less. I got plenty of cookies tucked away and chocolate covered pretzels. And that's also how I'll get other realtors to come. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to have chocolate covered pretzels. I know how much you like those. And they're like, oh, really? And we'll make a joke about it. But you know what? Then I get other realtors there. I had a realtor come and she did a Facebook Live and says, hey, I'm right here out in, such and so in this house. Oh, my goodness, it's gorgeous. It's sitting on 5 acres. And let me tell you a little bit about it. She was walking through the open house while other people are walking through the open house. And she's like, if you want to come and see this property, and schedule a showing, call me. And so there's an agent from my office is marketing my listing.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's not just an open house. You're describing an experience.
Yes. And we had so many people there. I mean, it was great. So my point, and also, by the way, I put out that it was going to be an open house, a little sign or a rider on the sign, the for sale sign. I put it out for that whole week. Like I left, and then the next week I did it again. So I left that sign out all week. So people would see it if they drove by and go, oh, wow, that's going to be open on Sunday, because signs are a big deal. And as soon as I left the first open house and knew I was going to have it open the next week, I went into RealTrax, into our MLS, and scheduled that open house right then. That night before 7 o'clock, it was already scheduled in RealTrax. So if somebody pulled any kind of reports or a realtor saw, so I had people actually, realtors sending their clients to come to the open house, and say, hey, I'm going to send my clients to your open house. I saw you're going to have one. And they're, they got some interest in that property. Would that be okay? Absolutely. Send them on. And when they come, make sure they know that, I know they're your people, and I'll send you an update, after they leave. And so just, help people. And so especially your fellow realtors or agents. And so you're displaying what it's like, though. When people walk through the open house, you're displaying what it's going to be like to do business with you.
Yeah.
Okay, do you realize how impactful that is? Even if they don't even realize it, they're thinking, wow, if I list my home, wow. Well, she does an open house and she has food and it looks like this. Wow.
Just think about Chick-fil-A and any other fast food restaurant. And I know we've all seen these memes on Facebook here lately with the screaming lady and the cat. And the funniest one I've seen, you've probably seen it, but you're gonna laugh again when I tell you. It's the screaming lady, and she's got a black eye, and she's like, I got a chicken sandwich from Popeyes. It only took 2 hours. And the cat's sitting over there saying, he's got a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and he says, 90 seconds, and I have a blessed day.
I have not seen that, but that's a riot.
But it's just it's spot on, man. It's exactly what you get at Chick-fil-A.
And we all know what that means.
Yeah.
And they had a pleasure serving me.
That's right.
All right. So we're talking about make more money by holding open houses. Ooh, I'm preaching, and I'm talking about having 4 different tips, but I'll just about put 5 in that one tip. So put that rider out ahead of time. Make sure you put that open house is going to be in the MLS. Like, this is way more than what we were even planning on. And so we're going to get up to about 20 tips for having a successful open house. But look, open houses work. You're going to meet more people, which, by the way, meeting prospects is huge. And so it's that. Oh, by the way, also, I had my business cards on the countertop because guess what? People are like one guy literally stood in the middle of the kitchen with his wife and put my card in his wallet. Mm-hmm. And so, they're taking those MLS sheets. It's got my name and number on there. And so, that's in all that. So you want to have something that they can take with them. So I had those full color, pretty MLS sheets. The other thing I had a printout of all of the photos with all of the descriptions, the Build the Dream descriptions under each image, and describing about the home. And so that's a whole nother thing. But so they could look through those images and read about the home and different parts, all that. So there's 30 images, and each one had Build the Dream paragraphs, little descriptions. It's all good. We're using those Build the Dream words because I'm stirring the emotion. And so I had those all full color. Everybody gets an original. I'm not making copies of copies. It's, it's all professionally, highly, nicely done, good quality, bright white paper, all that. All right, we're talking about making more money by holding open houses. The 4th and final one is follow up. If you say, hey, if you sign in for I'll send you this or I'll do that, you make sure you do it. You follow up. And then also, you could even do, you could have people sign up because you offer high-value homeowner tips. And they go, really? And so, we send out reminders about opening your crawl space fence or when you need to close them in the winter. it's going to be the first freeze warning or whatever. And so you can be kind of or I send a monthly homeowner maintenance list. And so if you'd like to get that, again, give them a reason to sign up. Give them a reason to give your stuff. The other agent that was at the open house heard me talking with someone, and I got their information, and she goes, wow, that's such a great way to get someone's information. I was talking about, well, let me find out the answer to this question for you, and I'll call you back and let you know. And then from the open house, I ended up connecting with a couple that wanted to come. It was he and his daughter, and he wanted to bring his wife back. And so I said, great, well, here's my card, and let me know, or I'll call you if I haven't heard from you. And let's, if you all decide, because she was going to be flying in that day, but it was after the open house was over. Mm-hmm. Well, the next morning, I called him. I got his information. And so I was like, okay, I hadn't heard from him, because again, but I had said I'll call him if I hadn't heard from him. There's a reason for that. So I was like, what's your name? What's your number? Blah, blah, blah. And so the next morning, 9 o'clock, I was texting him, wanting to know, if he and his wife, when they might want to do it and, get together to see the home. And I sent him 2 different days and times and said, would either of these work for you? So I'm really closing for the appointment when I do that. I don't usually like to text, but sometimes texting is a little bit less intrusive. Yeah. And people seem to be comfortable with that. He was a little bit more of a soft-spoken, introverted type. So if he was real extroverted and kind of theatrical or whatever, and that might have been a different kind of way that I followed up. But he texted me right back. We set the showing appointment for the next day. He picked a day and time. Like, it all worked out great. All that. So the bottom line is, make sure you follow up or do what you say you're going to do. And so, all right, if you're not getting enough Michelle, make sure you go to realestatecoachingsimplified.com. You can get a copy of Selling Simplified for free. All you got to do is pay the $4.95 for shipping and handling, and we will ship you a copy, a hard copy, like an actual copy in your hand for you to be able to read. It's 55 Fast Tips to Jumpstart Your Real Estate Business. In it, I share what I attribute my success in the real estate business to. Exactly. It's my tell-all. I got a tell-all book.
No.
Yeah, I got no secrets, y'all. None. I just lay it all out there. All right, well, we'll see you next time on The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.
Realtors, if you're ready to jumpstart your business, Michelle has your realtor coaching covered at realestatecoachingsimplified.com. Everything from coaching online teachings to in-person programs. Join us next time for The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.